Hello everyone, Merry Christmas. I'm Kurt Coffey with Case IH. The holiday season is one of my favorite times of the year. It is a time to reconnect with our friends, our family, and our loved ones. For more than 180 years, Case IH has been a proud partner of farmers. We've been anticipating your needs and providing purposeful solutions to address farmers' challenges. It's an honor and a privilege to work alongside you in such a noble industry. At Case IH, we get to do what we truly love, which is to work in agriculture. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
A season of togetherness.
And we have families that have been coming out to the farm for over 30 years.
Of light. And we thought, how nice would it be to bring our horses in one night a week for 4 weeks and give our community an opportunity to walk through and see our horses and learn a little bit more about us.
And the tradition of the season.
Stuckey's really is synonymous with the road trip during what I consider the era of the Great American Road Trip.
It's time once again to celebrate Christmas in the country.
Good morning and Merry Christmas. I'm Clinton Griffiths.
And I'm Tyne Morgan, and welcome to this year's Christmas in the country. We know that many of you have traveled from near and far to be with family and friends this holiday, and one particular stop on the holiday road is starting to make a resurgence.
That's right, Tyne. I traveled to Rennes, Georgia, where that roadside icon is cooking up a comeback with the help of local farmers. Dashing through the snow in a front-wheel drive sleigh.
Hey kids, look, a deer!
There's nothing more seasonal than a holiday road trip. And at one time, Stuckey's was a likely stop.
At our peak, we had 368 stores in 40 states.
The roadside oasis is woven into the fabric of highway history.
Stuckey's really is synonymous with the road trip during what I consider the era of the Great American Road Trip, which would have been the 1950s to the 1970s, when Americans wouldn't travel by plane. They would load up in the car, usually in a family station wagon, and they'd drive for 5 days.
It was founded during the Great Depression by pecan farmer W.S. Stuckey as a roadside pecan stand.
He always considered himself first and foremost a pecan farmer and a pecan broker.
Today, his granddaughter is leading a resurgence of that business, not as a highway stop, but as a pecan company with roots on Georgia farms.
I want us to be, this is our big, audacious goal, the go-to pecan snack brand in the world.
Helping her on the journey, a third-generation pecan farmer.
As a Georgia pecan grower, I may be a little bit biased, I don't know, but I genuinely believe we grow the best pecans in the world in the state of Georgia.
He credits ample rainfall and higher oil content with resulting in larger sized nuts, perfect for creating candied treats at Christmas. Today, on an in-shell basis, they handle about 2 million pounds of Georgia pecans a year in a state that grows 100 million pounds.
In the state of Georgia, which grows more pecans than any state in the country, over 10% of the crop is grown in people's yards.
Soon, they'll be using even more as the business continues to expand.
Why is it that when you go into the grocery store and you walk down the salty snack aisle and you get to the nuts, you can find every other nut sitting in that section, but you don't see pecans there very often?
A question this farmer and farmer's granddaughter are aiming to answer.
Of the original 368 stores, only 12 left. But I saw what wasn't on the balance sheets, and that's the value of the brand.
A brand dumping, churning, dipping, and packaging pecans, log rolls and clusters, just the way the founder, W.S. Stuckey, did when he started.
I would like to think if he were alive today, he would be really happy that we're making our comeback the way we began, as a pecan company.
And we're just getting started celebrating Christmas in the country.
That's right, Clinton. Coming up, we celebrate the season by heading to a horse farm.
Christmas in the Country is brought to you by Case IH. The Farmall has been an iconic partner on the farm for generations. Come celebrate a century of Farmall, the one for all, with us at farmall100.com.
President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden on hand for the lighting of the National Christmas Tree in Washington, D.C. This year's tree came from Monocacy National Forest in West Virginia. The tradition dates back to 1923 when President Calvin Coolidge turned the lights on that first national Christmas tree. Decorating for the holidays doesn't have to just be about putting up lights on a tree. How about decorating an entire stable, all for a great cause? That's the case each year at Rainbow Meadows Equine Rescue in Junction City, Kansas, as Christmas at the Stables drums up support for a great cause. The stalls glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas here in Junction City, Kansas at the Rainbow Meadows Equine Rescue.
And what we want people to become aware of more than anything is that there are horses within our community that need a safe place to land, and Rainbow Meadows provides that safe refuge.
Guys, ready? Karen Everhart is the executive director and founder of Rainbow Meadows, an equine rescue and retirement organization. Christmas at the Stables isn't just festive, it's an experience all can enjoy.
And we thought, how nice would it be, even though our horses generally do not come in at night, to bring our horses in one night a week for 4 weeks, allow them a special treat of alfalfa hay that makes them happy, and give our community an opportunity to walk through and see our horses and learn a little bit more about us.
In its third year, visitors have the chance to see more than 40 horses this year, as Christmas at the Stables has exploded in popularity.
We anticipated maybe on a good night we might have, 100 people come through here. And last week we had 600 people through here.
And that may be because the mission here extends beyond the holidays.
Rainbow Meadows is essentially a passion-driven organization. We operate typically somewhere between 45 and 50 horses on any given day.
What's now a 501c3, Everhart says started in the summer of 2005, right after she retired from the healthcare industry.
Individuals who found out that I had a relatively large ranch and had a long history with horses, we became aware of horses that were in need, and they reached out to me and said, hey, this horse is in trouble. What's the chance it could come live with you?
In its 19th year of operations, Everhart says Rainbow Meadows helps horses in 3 areas.
The first is those that actually come in as direct intakes, and we probably bring 40 to 50 horses in each year. But we also are involved in helping horses a little more indirectly. So if there are large seizures of horses, they may not physically ever come here just due to capacity. And I will help provide new homes for them through what we call a placement process.
From physical rehab to emotional rehabilitation, the work here has turned into several miracles, including one horse named Phoenix.
Phoenix was sadly one of 55 horses that had to be seized, and this little filly was 3 years old. She was the size of a horse that was about 6 months old, and she was lying in mud and she was covered in feces, and I literally thought she was dead.
They rescued Phoenix and then began her rehabilitation.
Within 30 days, she didn't even look like the same horse. She actually looked normal. Within 60 days, she was completely rehabilitated.
It's those stories that make all the volunteer hours here an investment that's well worth it.
That's what it's about, is doing better for these animals than someone has chosen to do in the previous past.
Rainbow Meadows runs almost completely on volunteers, and during December, these stables celebrate the joy in all of it. More Christmas in the country when we return. Many people know just where to get a perfect real tree. We'll visit one tree farm that has become a tradition for many families at Christmas. And you can't have a tree without an incredible light display. You'll see one next.
Another spectacular tree, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree in New York City. The Norway spruce comes from Vestal, New York. It came from the side yard of a home, becoming the 91st tree to light up Rockefeller Center. Now, thousands come to Rockefeller Center just to check out that amazing tree and experience Christmas in New York. But people also are turning out in droves to check out a farm near Sioux City, Iowa. A farmer there started putting lights up in his yard back in 1995, and as Andrew McCrae reports, they've been coming to Christmas Acres ever since.
Rob Scheitler lives outside of Lamars, Iowa. What is a holiday attraction today has its roots from his days as a kid here on the farm.
I started hanging Christmas lights when I was a kid on our family farm just down the road, and it grew from there. And pretty soon my dad got into it, and we had lights on all the farm buildings, the fence lines, tractors, wagons.
In 1995, he moved into a new home on the farm and brought those Christmas lights with him. It marked the beginning of what is today called Christmas Acres. Rob was just putting up lots of lights around his house, on the trees and buildings for fun, and people simply drove by to see the display. But as years passed, he acquired more lights. The display grew, and so did the number of people driving down the gravel road to see it.
We estimate this year we have 300,000 lights or more. I'm covering all the trees, the bushes, the fences. There's, like I said, there's 929 plastic blow molds, 170 some lighted sculptures. We got 93 old street pole decorations have been donated.
He used to begin putting up lights each season on Labor Day weekend. Today there is so much to do. He began this year on August 11th. They always open the weekend before Thanksgiving. Rob lives in the country, but that doesn't mean people have a hard time finding his place. There's often a solid line of cars down the gravel road for several hours on the weekends. For several years, people would simply drive by Rob's place to see the lights, but he always wanted people to experience the display up close.
Probably 8 years ago, the idea of putting in walking paths came to be.
So people park on the opposite side of the gravel road and literally walk paths through Rob's yard. Yes, this is the home where he lives, and if Rob is not outside greeting guests, he's most likely inside with his wife, working on an idea he suggested to her a few years ago.
What if we turned our garage into a bake shop? And so we did, and it was a hit. And so for the last 3 years, every Friday and Saturday night, our garage turns into the Scheitler Bake Shop. So we call it the Scheitler Bakers from Christmas Acres.
Rob and his wife often bake 2,000 to 3,000 cookies each weekend. It's become a year-round side business, baking cookies, pies, and other baked goods. There's never been a charge to come and see the display, but people kept asking if they could help Rob in some way.
We always had people come to our front door and want to give us money, and we refused. And it got to the point where people kept coming, and so my wife Joyce said, if they're going to come to the door and want to hand us money, then we're going to do this as a charity.
In 10 years' time, they raised over $130,000 for the local Christian Needs Center in Lamars. This Christmas, money is being raised for the Lamars Community Fire Department and Wet Nose, a local pet rescue organization. You'll often find volunteers out assisting at the display. There are literally thousands of people walking through Rob's front yard from around Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve. And one has to wonder if there's ever a time when he perhaps wants a silent night, so to speak, to peacefully and quietly enjoy Christmas.
Oh, I think it's great. If that was my way, we'd do this year-round if I could. But, it comes to a time where it's time to take it all down and put it away for another year.
This truly is a magical place in the middle of the farm fields of northwest Iowa. People come here to enjoy the Christmas lights and walk these paths each Christmas, and in turn, help raise money for local causes. Traveling the countryside in Lamars, Iowa, I'm Andrew McCrae.
Now, lots of people are enjoying the holiday while gathered round the Christmas tree. And for those who pick out a real Christmas tree, they often return to the same tree farm year after year. We'll visit one, helping keep a family tradition going, next as Christmas in the Country continues.
Well, the Real Christmas Tree Board tells us about 20% of those asked were planning to buy a real Christmas tree this year. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us. Michelle, the board also reported that supplies would be tight this year.
Christmas tree production is becoming a rarer part of American agriculture, but at Riverview Christmas Tree Farm on the Iowa-South Dakota border, they're helping keep their tradition alive. Todd Gannon and his wife Sherry left the corporate world 8 years ago and bought the farm where Todd worked during high school, and their family visited annually to cut their own Christmas tree.
My wife and I were looking for a change. I was on an airplane every week and just wanted to get back to more localized agriculture.
Gannon says this type of agriculture requires a large amount of hand labor. Plus, each tree takes 8 to 10 years before it can be harvested and sold.
So we have about 20,000 trees on the farm. Each year we will harvest or sell between 1,000 and 1,500 trees. And then we come back in the spring with about 3,000 new trees just due to death loss, what's harvested, and then also some of the older trees just have to get knocked down because they're just not growing real pretty.
But a tree that's not pretty to one family may be perfect for the next, and the experience of cutting their own fresh Christmas tree draws customers from hundreds of miles around.
We're one of the last choose and cut your own Christmas tree farms in the area, so we're kind of the last thing left.
Their goal at Riverview is to help families develop long-lasting memories.
We really specialize in the experience more than just the tree. And we have families that have been coming out to the farm for over 30 years. It's really just a fun experience for your family. Get out in nature, enjoy the holidays, Santa Claus is here, wander through the fields, and really choose that perfect tree for your family.
The Cookta family has been coming to Riverview for the last 12 years.
We decided to start our own tradition once my mom passed away, and so this is our tradition that we come out and we pick a tree, and actually my grandkids get to pick it, so we get all sorts of different kinds of trees every year.
And even the physical harvesting of the tree is a tradition that's being handed down from generation to generation.
Kind of the guys rotate who actually does the sawing, and so it started, my husband was doing it originally, and now my son's taken that over, and I'm sure eventually my grandson will.
Once the tree is cut, the Cookta family heads off to have the staff process the tree for transport.
So you bring the tree up, and any of the past year's growth that's died off inside the tree will be shaken out. So the boys will run the tree through a shaker, drill a hole for a stand, and we sell stands where the boys will attach a stand for you, and then they run it through the netter, so it's kind of packaged up nice and easy to transport and get in your house.
The Cooktas cap the day off with cider, hot chocolate, and holiday goodies at the lodge. And their annual family Christmas photo. A day of Christmas memories, homemade in the country. I'm Michelle Rook reporting.
Thanks, Michelle. And a Christmas tree looks great with some gifts under it, right? Machinery Pete has some green and red ideas, but we're not sure they'll actually fit under the tree. That's next.
Christmas in the Country is brought to you by Case IH. The Farmall has been an iconic partner on the farm for generations. Come celebrate a century of Farmall, the one for all, with us at farmall100.com.
Machinery Pete opens his Santa bag of auction sale prices to share some recent red and green record breakers.
Well, Merry Christmas, folks, from myself and everyone on our Machinery Pete team. And you know, a lot of our strongest memories about Christmas tend to go back to when we were kids. And myself, I remember growing up in our house in Benson, Minnesota, and a little something my dad taught us when we were little. At the end of the day, when you turn down the lights in the house and look at the Christmas tree and squint those eyes, and the tree, the lights, and those shiny ornaments take on a whole new luster. It's unbelievable. I still do it to this day. Always makes me smile. Now, I don't have to squint too hard into the recent past to think about some very shiny red and green tractor prices at auction that opened a lot of eyes. Let's start off with the December 7th auction, Northfield, Minnesota, where this 1979 John Deere 4440 with only 1,910 actual hours on it went for $85,000, record high auction price by $12,000. 1 week before that, November 29th, on an auction in Columbia City, Indiana, this 1998 John Deere 8300, 4,579 hours, sold for $135,000, record high by $18,000. And if we shift to shiny red paint, man, I remember a sale December 5th in Verona, Wisconsin. Actually 5 record prices on red tractors that day, including this 2010 Magnum 305 with 1,473 hours. Sold for $205,000, record by $16,000. And this 2013 Magnum 225 with 762 hours. Sold for $202,000, record by $39,500. And folks, I hope as you squint at your Christmas tree here and see those sparkly lights, I hope that vision plays out into a prosperous and healthy 2024 for you and your family.
That's it for another edition of Christmas in the Country.
Thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas.